Alors, dans un instant, messieurs, mais bien, je vais donc vous faire voir nos camels. Au fur et à mesure du temps, elles vont devenir maigrises. C'est tout.
This is my story about moving both quickly and slowly through the south of France while trying to stay in the shade during a record-breaking heat wave in the summer of 2019. I lucked out this year and got first class on Tahiti Nui Airlines when American Airlines canceled my flight the night before. So after a few delightful pastries and several glasses of Burgundy, I was there, Paris, the home of the Eiffel Tower, too many pedestrians, and never-ending traffic jams. This time, for some reason, I booked a room way out in Bobigny, a long ride into town, way on the outskirts, but I'm glad I did, because Bobigny is more like a working-class area where it felt like the real Paris. Not many people spoke English, at least to me, and people were just doing their jobs. Since I was way out there, I periodically rode into town and gave me a chance to check out parts of Paris I don't know very well, particularly the locks and canals that flow from outside of the city all the way into the Seine. Wherever you go, there's cafes and pastries, of course, and booze, and pastries, and oh yeah, crazy guys. My daily Paris bike rides took me through the red light district called Pigalle, which always seems so edgy and fun and exotic at night, but frankly by day, it's gray and seedy. But I can't complain because a day later I had a ticket on the TGV to one of my favorite cities in the world, Nice. To me, Nice has just about everything you could ever want, especially a French city. It's a beach town with a little bit of exotic, wealthy folks and a lot of Cleveland, frankly. A lot of workers, wealthy, and the drunk, and casinos. But on Thursday, I backtracked up to Avignon, the 11th century walled city. I settled in my hotel room for a night's rest and then was off, heading south to the Camargue in the blazing heat. And I'd love to tell you that I biked this fast, but this whole route here took me 5 days. And most of it included wheat, sunflowers, cornfields, and thankfully, shaded creek beds. And any ride from Avignon down to the Camargue and back is going to include cities, towns, country, cities, town, countries, and back and forth, and fortunately, in between, a few wineries.
Just went to the winery, the Tuileries, had some beautiful rosé, and hopefully I can make it back to the hotel without falling over.
Every once in a while, we stopped in the shade and enjoyed the squares and town fountains, the host for all kinds of dogs, kids, and frankly, more cafes and booths. And then there was the antiquities, of course. They're everywhere in France, but some of the oldest are in the south of France. And one of my favorite stops was the substructure under Nimes, the cool, spooky caverns that essentially held up a good part of the rest of the city. The Nimes Arena, built in the 1st century AD, was primarily used for gladiator fights. But now it's used for a concert hall for the likes of ZZ Top, Toto, and Mark Knopfler. Then it was on to the Camargue, famous for its pink flamingos, white horses, and bulls. I didn't know it, but flamingos aren't born pink, but they eat the larvae, small insects, and the algae in these briny swamps that have a lot of beta-carotene, and over time they start turning pink. The flamingos that are in zoos that you see are fed the same stuff to keep them pink, but they don't stay that way for long if they're not eating it. And then the Camargue white horses, supposedly the oldest breed of horse in the world, they kind of roam around this flat, open area, and it's a bit hard to get close to them. One of my favorite stops along the way was a beach town called Le Graal du Roi, a place where the working French go for holidays, but you don't see many others other than French there. Not too many miles after that, we stopped at the Source for Perrier water, the museum there. Free bottle of water. That is, if you don't mind paying $5 to get into the museum. And we went to the beach, swam at the Plage de l'Espiguette, all the way at the south end of France, and then biked back up and saw the fabulous Pont de Gard, the 1st century aqueduct that carried water from Nîmes. That's a quick tour of a slow ride through a country that is both moving very quickly in their major metropolitan areas and very slowly in the country. The It's hard not to take a little history and the French mode of life away with you when you leave. It wears off pretty fast, especially as soon as I hit back in LAX. That being said, I can't wait to go back.